Hi and welcome to vlog number 53. My name is Linda. I'm also known as Wolhobby on internet, Ravelry, YouTube, well, wherever really. And I'm an indie dyer and pattern designer living in the Netherlands. And I have a cat named Apollo, but if you have been here before, you already know Apollo. Earlier today, when I was recording my Dutch vlog, he was unable to get to me because there was knitwear everywhere here. Well, we had dinner in the meantime, so there is a little bit of space now. I have a whole list with knitting projects to show you. Oh, by the way, I was kind of distracted because Apollo came to join me. I wanted to say that if you are new here, welcome and thank you for clicking on playing this video and visiting my channel. And if you are a returning viewer, also welcome. I'm so happy that you are here again. So I'm going to try and show you some knitting without Apollo messing up my computer. Je bent zo lief, hè? He is such a cutie. I did a 40-day of vlog series during Lent. And well, he joined me nearly every day for the vlog. So... and he is a real sweetie. He's getting a bit old. He's 15 now. And he is supposed to be a certain race cat. If I had to translate it, it would be Norwegian forest cat. But one would expect a cat with lots of hair. Well, he does have lots of hair, but he is not particularly long-haired. And with the fluffy ears and the fluffy feet, but Apollo really looks like a normal cat. But the vet last week, when we were visiting, said, well, 15 is really old considering his race. Although he does not show much of his race. Apollo, you... oh, je bent ook zo'n poepie, hè? Ja, je bent lief, hè? Oh, gosjes. Sorry, focus, Lynn, focus. Knitting, okay. I have 8 projects to show you. No finished objects, just works in progress. And I have some acquisitions and, well, some other stuff that I thought was worth mentioning. So let's get started. He's lying down behind my computer, so that's good. My first project is in this bag that my friend Esther made for me. And that is my 24 Birds Mystery Knit Along, a circular shawl by Helen Stewart, whose designer name is Curious Handmade. And for this shawl, you need 3 colors plus a pop. So I picked my Quiet Sea, Apollo, and Dioptase, and my pop is Cedar. This is a lovely pattern to knit. It is really easy to follow. If you can read your knitting, you can just see what the next step will be. And it is 1 row of pattern stitches and then 1 row just knitting all the way around. The patterns by Helen Stewart are really really well written. And she uses this percentage rule. So in the pattern, she tells you, you did 10%, you did 20%, 30%. I already made the last increase. So we are at 576 stitches, I believe. So it won't get more stitches, and I'm kind of sorry for that, because I've knitted the Anthology Throw by Helen Stewart, and that went up to 1100 whatever stitches. And I do like the size of that scarf. So, but this will be it. It will grow bigger and bigger because the way it is built up, it is looking so pretty, so beautiful. I'm knitting this on my Chow. Oh, it's a 4.0 millimeter needle. And let's see if I can also tell you a US size 6. And I have, this is the gauge needle. This is just the needle that has to bring the stitches to knit. This is the needle that holds the stitches. So this is a much thinner needle so that the stitches slide off easily. I believe I read somewhere that the fade was working its way out, and then we have the color pop, and then the fade will work its way back to the lighter color as well. Since the last time you saw it, I did quite a bit of knitting, so I will move the stitch marker up now. Let's see if I have a better stitch marker. Yes, I do. Because this one, it is quite nice, but it does not fit over the lock. So it is, I would have this part of the stitch marker in my knitting and then the rest hanging down, but that it just doesn't work with this one. But I have a lovely ruby stitch marker here that I got from Floor, a Dutch knitter, and I will put it up here. That is my 24 birds by Curious Handmade. If you don't like a circular shawl, she also came up with the 12 birds, which is just a half pie. Let's see, where are my notes? Where is my list? Mijn Warme Wolhobby. My Warm Wolhobby. That is the pattern that my sister designed for me for my birthday. It is living in this sloth bag by Handmade JKV. And I am using, oh, this is her logo. I have her logo. Ta-da! And this is using my Vuur en Bos and my Excavation. I also have matching needle stoppers, but this one is falling down because in this project I am using 2 needle sizes as well. And let's see, I did quite some knitting on this one too, because this is where I was the last time. So I finished, you have 3 charts and you have to knit all 3 around. And you have to knit them 3 times. So each chart is 150 stitches. No, Each chart is 50 stitches wide and 50 rows high, and you have to knit all the charts 3 times. So, and to keep track of my charts, I'm using Knit Companion. So my first chart is named Donut, and my second chart is named Llama, and my third chart is named Magic Wand. So I can see from the stitch marker I'm passing which chart I should start knitting. I don't think I'm halfway the second time knitting the charts, but like I said, I did quite a bit of knitting, and I can move the stitch marker up now. This is a gnome stitch marker. Let's see if I want to change it to something else, because I got new stitch markers, but I showed them last week. I think this one is better to keep it in here. So I'm moving it up next to the donuts so that I can show you what I've knitted the next time. We went away for a weekend because of our 30th wedding anniversary, and when we were leaving, Rob said, "Did you bring enough knitting?" And I said, "Yes, I brought 3 projects." And when we were leaving the house, I just grabbed 2 more because I was worried that I would want to knit on other things. And I think the nice thing is that if you are knitting at a holiday or at a nice knit meet with friends, or if you do like a special cast on, for example, I always have the feeling that I knit that particular feeling in my project. So it brings back these lovely memories, and I just like that. So, okay, next up the list are my Jolanda socks. And they are here. I designed a pair of socks for each of my board members a few years ago, and Jolanda, and I gave them the names of the board members. And Jolanda, who was my successor as a president, I met her a few weeks ago, and she said, "Oh, my socks have holes in them." And I said, "Well, just send them to me and I can see if I can mend them." And so I did, but I'm not really good at it, I think. So I decided to knit her a new pair as well. Like the first pair, they will be red because Jolanda is just a big fan of red. And because she had holes on the soles on the front of her feet, I decided to do a slip stitch part for the first few centimeters on the sole. So I started, there's a rounded toe, I started the pattern and I did slip 1, knit 1, and then the next row I just knitted the sole stitches, and I hope that it gives a little extra sturdiness to it. So it's an all over pattern, well, not on the sole of course, but once I get to the leg, the pattern will be all around. And I'm using my own settle yarn base, which does not contain merino. So it is probably a little sturdier than my merino sock yarn. It is living in the bag that my friend Esther made for me. And I'm seeing Jolanda again on June 22nd. There will be an Inner Wheel event in Rotterdam then, and she already asked me if she should pick me up. And it would be really nice if I would have her new pair of socks ready by then. So this should not be tucked away too far. Let's see, what's next on the list? My Suriously Holey. That is a pattern by Stephen West. It is a huge shawl wrap thing, and I'm knitting it out of this Suri yarn by the Wee Yarn Company, and this pretty yarn by Undercover Otter. And it is an all-over brioche shawl. This will be the top of the shawl, and you see all these big yarn over holes. And once you make a yarn over hole, you make 17 stitches out of one. And so this thing is growing as you go. The yarn over hole, I said yarn over holes, I just mean stitches. It is just made out of a stitch and just produces a whole new set of stitches. It is a lovely knit. I just did the increase yarn over round earlier today, and now I have a ton of rounds to do just in the regular brioche. You have to increase at the beginning and the end of the needle. In the first pass with your main color, then purl with your contrast color, turn your work, purl with your main color, and knit with your contrast color. And then you are back at the increase round. So it's super easy. You just have to do those rounds for, I think at this time, 15 times, I think. So it will keep me busy. And there's a stitch marker here. I moved it from somewhere else because this was the point where I increased, was the increase round. And now every time that I get this new set of stitches out of this increase, I know that I have done the set of the row 3 and 4 that you have to repeat all the time for so many times. So I added another stitch marker. It is right here. This is a llama stitch marker. I bought at the Wee Yarn Company a set of 5, but they are stitch markers by Twin Mountain Handicraft or Handcraft. I'm not sure, but Twin Mountain, that's probably known to many of you. I grabbed this out of hibernation last Sunday, I think, or Saturday, and I just can't stop. It is such a lovely knit, and I like the rhythm of brioche. I am not interested in using one pass brioche because I just like the rhythm, the way it goes. Knit one, slip with yarn over, knit one, slip in yarn over, purl one, slip with yarn over. So brioche is perfect the way it is. I don't need to add things to it. So that's my Suriously Holey, a pattern by Stephen West. I am using US 5 3.75 millimeter needles. So next up is my Excavation blanket, and that is still living in my bucket here. These are all my scrap yarns, and since the blanket is growing and growing, I need to use bigger scraps of yarn. So most of the smaller ones have already been knitted in. I have my alpaca stitch markers, and I am using a US 2.5 3mm needle. That is just the needle that is recommended in the pattern, I believe. And this is what I have so far. And I absolutely love the way it's turning out. I love it. The idea is that you use the tiniest scraps of yarn as long as you have enough length to knit across and back. Then you cut your yarn, or you just finish the yarn that you had, and then you tie a knot here. And these leftovers will be cut to a decent size fringes. This is also living on my couch, and every time that I have to knit something that does not take up too much brain space, or that I can put away easily, I will pick this one. I think I need to add stitches up until 300 and something, but it's really up to me, right? Because it's my blankie. The way back, you will put fringes on this side of your work, but since I don't like the back of this knit, well, I do like it, but I would not want to have half of a blanket of this and the other half of this. I'm going to probably knit a second half and graft it together. Yes, that is what I think I'm going to do. And this project I particularly like because when you are using scrap yarn, just like when you knit on a project on vacation, or like I just said a minute ago, a nice knit afternoon with friends or something, when using scrap yarn, you are knitting in all these lovely yarns that you have projects of already, or that you swapped with yarn friends, or, well, it is just so nice to work on. Apollo is clawing his nails into my computer screen every time. I don't want him to. But how can you ever explain a cat that he can't do something? I have my Lenteregen socks. I have one sock finished already. I did do the slip one, knit one trick here as well to try it out. But, well, now I've already added it to Jolanda's socks as well. This is just a plain vanilla sock. I cast it on 72 stitches, did 2 rounds in my Lenteregen. Then I did 1 knit round and 18 rounds of forest green. And then I just knit it all the way to the heel, did a slip stitch heel flap, regular heel turn, knitted the foot, did the slip stitch part here, and knitted the toe. But I recently launched a new pattern, my Hexappeal sock pattern, and somehow things went wrong when I was recording the instruction video for the Eye of Partridge heel and for picking up the stitches. So my second Lenteregen was the farthest done on the leg. So I decided to use this one for the instruction for the Eye of Partridge and picking up the stitches. So I have one with the slip stitch heel flap. Apollo was moving the camera stand again. I did one with the slip stitch heel flap, and for educational purposes I did a Eye of Partridge heel in this one. And then I was about to edit the videos that I made, and somehow I have an old camera to do my instruction videos on. Somehow it did save the recordings, but not on the card, and it was impossible to get them from my camera over to my computer. So I have a pair of socks with two different heels for nothing really, because in the end I had to redo the tutorial again. But I used my hexagon of my Hexappeal pattern to make the instruction for the Eye of Partridge heel and picking up the stitches. I did that this afternoon, so I just picked up the stitches and now I have to start working on the foot. This is in my Golden Leaves colorway, which I absolutely adore, and this is again in Diopta's. The pattern is not translated to English yet, but I am planning on doing so. But for now it's just in Dutch. Don't you just love the hexagons? And I thought Hexappeal was a very fitting name. Oh, I still have my needle stoppers here. Let's see. My Castle in the Sky socks, where did I put them? I'm not sure if I showed these already, because I had it finished the last time I recorded. Well, I have finished one. This is Castle in the Sky. This is a pattern by Lisa K. Ross, also known as Paperdaisycreations. And this is a sock for her single sock spectacular knit along. I think it's running until the end of May. And every time you finish one sock of one of her patterns, you get an entry to win prizes. And if you use sponsor yarn, you get another entry. This is sponsor yarn, but hey, in this case, I'm the sponsor. This is my forest green colorway. It is a toe-up sock. It's just a regular toe. Then you start the pattern on the foot, which is just some slipped stitches in this section and knits and purls and easy going. And then on the leg, the magic happens with the castles in the sky. This part is charted, and well, I just finished one, and then I cast it on other socks. So all my sock needles are occupied at the moment. So this is just going to go back in my Wool Hobby project bag, and it has to wait until I finished a sock. This will probably be the first one. This is a no-brainer, of course, now. I just have to knit until I've reached the toe and then just knit the toe and I'll be done. Let's see. I made some acquisitions. I bought a new knitting book. This is Knitting Stitch-Led Designs by Alison Allen. And this book is particularly interesting because of all the techniques that are used. So this is really a book I bought to learn from, not to knit the designs from, but it has some really, really interesting things going on in here. So I have been browsing it and checking out the patterns and checking out all the different techniques she is explaining in this book. So this is the back of the book, where you can see some of the stitches that I used. And I purchased a mystery bag of Sweet Georgia yarns. And it took some time to get here, and taxes were unbelievable, of course. And I decided to go for lace, because lace is not something that I have in my own shop. The only thing is, I was counting on 2 100-gram skeins, but it said on the website that you would receive 2 skeins, and in my mind it would be 2 100-gram skeins, but it is 1 50-gram skein. This is cash silk lace in the colorway Cayenne, and this is 55% cultivated silk and 45% cashmere. 400 yards for 1.75 ounce. So I love the color depth in this yarn. I love the yarn itself. I love the twist. It is so pretty and it's unbelievably soft. But what would you expect from cashmere and silk, right? The other thing in my mystery bag was this merino silk lace skein. And this has just all different kinds of blues in there. This is 50% fine merino wool and 50% cultivated silk. It contains 765 yards on 3.5 ounce. I hope I'm saying that correct, by the way. It's 700 meters on 100 grams. I have no plans with this yarn yet, although I would love to start a lace shawl with the bigger skein, of course. And it would be so pretty for summer, right? To be continued. Let's see, is there anything else that I have on my list? My advent calendars are still for sale in the shop. I've told it before, I'm going to tell it again. I am providing an advent calendar for a somewhat lower price. Advent calendars are a massive amount of work and therefore very expensive. But I wanted to have an advent calendar which would stay under 100 euros, including shipping within the Netherlands. If you are going to buy an advent calendar and it has to be shipped out to the United States, taxes will be taking off, but shipping will be more expensive, and you might have to pay some taxes or handling in the United States. A 24 skein advent calendar is impossible to do for that price. So my advent calendar contains 12 20-gram skeins of merino, 75-25 merino, very soft. The color palette will be determined by the answers you give on a survey I will send out to you once you have ordered a calendar. So it will be a big surprise. And it will be kind of exciting because I will need to interpret your answers in the way you meant them to be interpreted. But we did it last year as well, and we had a blast, and it was awesome. The other 12 days, you will receive a handy crafty notion. Most of the presents, most of the crafty notions are made in the Netherlands. So I just want to point out that it's not cheap stuff from I don't know what country. Most of them are made in the Netherlands, and we give it a huge amount of thought to come up with the most pretty presents. This year's Advent calendar, we just made the number of calendars that we can sell as big as we could possibly hope to die up. No, of course, the number we came up with, we are able to die up. And we will take it offline by June 30, I think. Or when it's sold out before that, whichever comes first. But my point is, I still have Advent calendars. So if you are still looking for one, and if you want to enjoy your Advent from December 1st until 24th, with a present each day, a yarn, a present, a yarn, a present, and a pattern in the end, this is your chance. Just go to the website and see if you can grab one. Let's see, I think that's it for now. I had a lot of knitting because it was a few weeks since I last showed you all the knitting. Well, I showed some of it last week, but now you have seen it all again. I just remembered that I do have a finished object. So I already said goodbye, and so I'm going to put this somewhere in between all the projects. But I finished this tape measure crochet thingy. There's a little flower here, and I did not make it match. I just used up leftover yarn, and instead of sewing it together, I crocheted it together. This is a pattern by Haak erop los. That's Steve. He is from Belgium, but he was staying in the same hotel as my sister and me during the Knit and Knot 2 weeks ago, and I just thought it was a lovely, tiny project. Just a bite-sized project in between other things. And I got it finished. I hope you are all doing well. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, please like and subscribe. Help my channel to grow. And I hope to see you next time. Oh, and leave a message, leave a comment for me. I love it if you do. Happy crafting, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.